respect to the City of Prescott and Town of Prescott's technical dialogue with United States Geological Survey regarding a project which is the Northern Arizona Regional Groundwater Flow Model. This is a very large framework model extending over approximately a third of the state of Arizona. The northern third of Arizona. The City of Prescott's interest is that the Big Chino subbasin, for which we have the Big Chino Water Ranch project, is within this study area, and we have been provided the opportunity by the USGS to have a technical dialogue, which is effectively another peer review. We have our experts, hydrogeological experts, Southwest Groundwater and Montgomery and Associates, who have gone through the draft model study report, but not really the model per se, the report for the model, and compiled quite a few technical questions and so forth. And again, we're in a technical dialogue with USGS to address those technical questions for the purpose, frankly, of making sure that the report which GS issues is the best report it can be, not only in terms of scientific objectivity, the quality of the science, but also the report and the communication of that science in the report, which is very important, because in the absence of either of those, frankly, there could be confusion on the part of the public about just what some of the statements in the draft report that we've seen mean. So again, through this technical dialogue, so forth, we've been able to get some clarification on and make comments on really the report itself as distinct from the underlying model. So, as we sit here today, we're looking forward to continuing that technical dialogue in one or more additional meetings. And I guess, the final thing I would say about this is that in the end, this is a U.S. Geological Survey report. It is not a City of Prescott report. We have been provided the opportunity to provide technical comments, suggestions, ask questions, and so forth, again, in the interest of having the best report, or the report be the best it could be. But USGS is ultimately responsible for the content and integrity of this report. So again, what we're doing is primarily, effectively, a peer review of it.
Mm-hmm. Has the city expended any money on this report or on the peer review?
The city and Town of Prescott Valley have incurred some expense because our experts are, in fact, private firms. Southwest Groundwater and also Montgomery and Associates are private firms, hydrogeology firms. So we have incurred some expense in that respect. I guess that's the answer to your question.
Are there concerns by the city on the content of this report?
Well, we were provided, the city was provided an excerpt, not the entire report, and there were some statements in there, in that excerpt, which frankly got our attention, and we went to USGS and had some discussion with them, and that discussion culminated in USGS agreeing to provide to the city and town and our experts the entire report, the entire study report, which is a work in progress. It's a draft. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we did have some concerns about what we saw in there, and needed some additional clarifications, had some comments and so forth.
When will the final non-draft report be coming out?
Well, only USGS can answer that question, frankly. I suspect it'll be at least a couple of months before it comes in.
What are the long-term ramifications of this report on the Big Chino project for the city?
Well, I think to answer that question, we have to place this particular report in context. And this Northern Arizona Regional Groundwater Flow Model is what we call a framework report. It is a regional report. And so, we would describe it as being coarse rather than fine in terms of the focus of it, how much data there is, and how detailed it is. So this particular report is intended to be a framework within which more detailed or nested groundwater models will be placed. And in the agreement in principle, for example, which the town of Prescott Valley and City of Prescott have with SRP, Salt River Project, that agreement contemplates the creation of more detailed or nested model to be then imported into this framework model and become part of it. So this is the broad brush approach. We've all contemplated a much more focused and refined approach for nested models, and one of those would be for the Big Chino Subbasin and its relationship to the Upper Verde River. Now, this is a very broad model, so there could conceivably be other nested models such as Oak Creek and so forth.
Does this USGS report have any potential of negating the agreement with SRP?
No. No. We don't believe so. Really, what we're discussing is science and a particular model, which is an expression of science, and that expression of science is fully contemplated by the agreement in principle with Salt River Project, that we would be doing, or there would be done, the framework model and the nested model and so forth. So it all fits together, but again, because water is sensitive in Arizona, water is particularly sensitive up here in central Yavapai County. We entered into the agreement in principle a year ago to deal cooperatively and collaboratively, and any time that a model is rolled out or a draft model is rolled out or we see the report, we're going to go through it quite meticulously to make sure we understand what it is and have any dialogue that is then necessary with whoever is doing that, again with the objective of making that report or model the best that it can be in terms of science.
When will the nested report, as you call it, be done, and who will do it?
Well, the more detailed or refined nested model identified or contemplated in agreement with Salt River Project is the subject of negotiations with Salt River Project, which have not culminated in an agreement right now. So I think that to directly answer your question, it would be, I think, probably at least, just to throw out a time frame, 6 months before we would have a comprehensive agreement providing for comprehensive agreement with Salt River Project, providing for the creation of this nested model.